In this book, Abby discovers a creepy organization that tries to control the entire town of Stony Brook. And no, I'm not talking about the Babysitters Club.
Argo Funk Book Review, Argo Funk Book Review.
This book was written by Ellen Miles. Abby is bored because she can't do sports in February, so she checks out the school's job board for something to do.
Quickly, I ran my eyes over the listings, ignoring the ads for babysitters, dog walkers, and newspaper deliverers. All the usual part-time jobs. Boring, 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 I muttered.
Whoa, Abby ignores babysitting jobs because they're boring? Are we sure she's a member of the Babysitters Club? Also, nobody tell Christy that babysitting jobs are posted inside their school, or she'll try to destroy the job board. The Greenbrook Country Club needs help with cleaning and childcare. Abby's excited for that job. I like how she's excited for childcare, but bored by babysitting. Childcare and babysitting are the exact same thing. During the BSC meeting, Abby tells her first impression of all the girls, such as Jessie's obsessed with ballet, Christy is bossy, Claudia is flaky, and Stacy only cares about clothes and looks. Wow, sounds like Abby hated all of the girls when she first met them. Greenbrook used to be the Dark Woods Country Club. It was run by a pair of corrupt villains named Mayor Armstrong and Paul Stanton. They're both racist. Mayor Armstrong didn't let Jewish people join the club, while Stanton disowned his daughter Nikki for marrying a Korean man. Nikki is the club's new owner. The BSC works for her, along with the usual rogues gallery of Cookie Mason, Alan Gray, and Carrie Retlin. The groundskeeper is Mr. Kawaja. Mr. Kawaja never speaks, and he's extremely protective of the hedge maze. When Abby gets too close to the outside of the maze, he walks right up to her and stands in her way, so she's forced to go somewhere else. What is he hiding? Marianne and Abby sing songs from the 1960s, which is a perfectly normal thing for 1990s teenagers to do. Sergeant Johnson arrives with today's mystery. He explains the country club was a cover for a secret society made up of blackmailers and extortionists. 30 years ago, they murdered an undercover reporter named David Fullman. David left behind a 4-step scavenger hunt leading to his evidence. Yes, David went through the trouble of making a scavenger hunt, instead of making a post-mortem letter. What can I say? David loved puzzles. Our plot kid today is Nikki's son, Steven. Steven is 7, and he has a rat tail hairdo. Gross! He doesn't have any friends because he's too shy. More like he doesn't have any friends because of his hair. Mallory introduces him to 4 groups of kids with no success. Steven complains he doesn't fit in anywhere because he's biracial. Mallory figures the BSC can help him accept his background, and this gets the Best Drop Subplot Award, because we totally forget about the fact that Steven is half Korean. The story changes to clubhouse wars. The Pikes build a clubhouse. Nikki Pike refuses to let Steven, Claire, and Jenny join, which is totally out of character for Nikki, by the way. Steven and the girls are so mad, they build their own clubhouse, and then we get 2 chapters of the kids fighting over whose clubhouse is better, until they decide that being friends and working together is better than fighting. Claudia sees blueprints, which reveal there's a secret structure in the middle of the hedge maze. They can't see what it is because Mr. Kawaja is still protecting the entrance. Mr. Stanton visits the club in order to watch Steven. The BSC assumes he's up to no good, although it should be obvious he wants to see his grandson for the very first time. There's a fake-out chapter where they find a clue about penguins in the wall. It turns out to be a joke written by Carrie. Carrie confesses he wrote the fake notes for Marianne and Logan in Super Mystery 2. He almost tricked them into breaking up because... well, no particular reason, he just likes messing with people. Carrie is a jerk. I'm glad we finally resolved that drop subplot, but it would have been 100 times better if they didn't wait until the next mystery book before telling us the solution. Seriously. Christy finds a clue under the loose part of the carpet. It's the date 1954, written in purple. Claudia figures it's a wine stain, because wine is purple, like grape juice. Clearly, Claudia has never heard of white wine before. The wine cellar has a 1954 bottle with a clue leading to a golf trophy with a false bottom. Inside are 2 keys and a clue about the shelter. Even though the girls have solved 3 clues pretty easily on their own, they completely give up here and call Sergeant Johnson for help. Obviously, he is no help. The guy needs 13-year-olds to solve all his mysteries for him. They set Mayor Armstrong up by sending him the clue as an anonymous note. Armstrong goes straight for the hedge maze. He forces his way inside past Mr. Kawaja. It turns out Mr. Kawaja can talk. He didn't say anything earlier because he didn't think it was important. That's more than a little weird because he gave out work instructions every day. He could have told the teenagers what to do for work instead of miming everything for weeks. The hedge maze hides a secret bomb shelter. Armstrong tries using Stephen as a hostage here. Even though there is no reason to turn this into a hostage situation, all he did was enter a hedge maze. Mr. Stanton is so shocked, he has a complete change of heart. He turns on Armstrong, saves Stephen's life, and apologizes to Nikki for the way he treated her. It's sweet, but Abby and the others don't care because there's a mystery to solve. They explore the bomb shelter and find all the hidden evidence against Armstrong and the secret society. Also, Mayor Armstrong gives a full confession. This should be enough to put him away for life. But Sergeant Johnson doubts the charges will stick. What? The former mayor confessed to murdering a journalist. I'm pretty sure the DA will want to pursue this case. The end. Post-book follow-up. I liked this book. The author clearly had fun with Abby's narration style. The scavenger hunt is interesting, and the book touches on the serious issue of racism, although not as much as previous books did. The fact that Stephen is biracial approaches the subject from a different angle. Other reviewers hated the racism subplot. I admit there is definite room for improvement, but I didn't think it was that bad. Admittedly, it's super weird how the Pikes treat Stephen in a way which could be interpreted as racist, but it's later revealed not to be racism, because there's no way this series would make Mallory's family legitimately racist. Also, Mr. Stanton gets forgiven for decades of racism and law-breaking because he does one nice thing. The nice thing being not killing his own grandson. I'd say he got off way too easy, except the actual murderer goes unpunished. I'm less worried about punishing the guy who knew about the secret society but wasn't a member. I thought Mr. Kawaja was a weird fake-out suspect. There was no reason for him to be silent, except it makes him a spooky fake-out suspect. Turns out it's just a coincidence he is protecting the culprit's hideout. He had no idea the bomb shelter was there. Okay. And the author definitely had a lost opportunity with Mr. Kawaja. He could have been tied in to the subplot about racism against Asians. At the club's grand opening, Abby tells Cookie off by saying they got engraved invitations. Cookie's mouth drops open in shock. Did I miss something here? When did they get invitations? Why are invitations such a big deal? Overall, it was a good mystery with some weird moments and a racism subplot that many people disliked. Your mileage may vary. Abby's narration was strong, as was the story. I give Babysitter's Club Mystery number 23, Abby and the Secret Society, a 9 out of 10.